So we can say that you have to imagine the society, that is also the modern society, based on a sort of pyramid. On the first stop, on the top of the pyramid, there was the political power, represented by the mask of Pantalone. Pantalone was the master of the city of Venice, and normally he was Jewish. He came from Jewish family. They were the richest of Venice, and they used to manage commercial with Asia and with the rest of Europe. You have to imagine that in 1500, Venice is the center of the European and Asiatic culture, okay? And so, Mr. Pantalone.
¿Siamo in Ungheria o dove? Mi pareva di essere Venezia. Non so Maria. Ma che bella signora. Buonasera signora, mi presento. Sono Pantalone de Venezia, il padrone della città. Sono venuto qua. Sapete, mi ha detto che le femmine ungheresi sono belle, che danno un gran bel par di tette. Volevo portarle a Venezia a fare un pochino di affari. Sapete, 2 o 3 puttanesse di qua, 2 o 3 sportessi di là.
He has only one interest, that is to get money from society and to he makes everything just for his affair. It doesn't matter about moral, he doesn't have any kind of, he doesn't have soul. Only what he does is to have advantage from the society. So he doesn't have any fear to make bad things to the people. So this is the master of the city, Pantalone. And this is the reason why on the second step of the pyramid there's the doctor.
Ancestrali, magistrali, sono venuti all'università più grande del mondo per sapere il segreto, omne tulipuntum qui utilimisqui dulce lettore delle tanto pariterco e momento. Arlecchino, poverino. Arlecchetto, poveretto. Un povero uomo senza servenze, niente, grande la natura e alla forza che potevi fare.
Doctor is this. He came from Bologna. We say that he speaks with the dialect of Bologna, and Bologna was where the first university in the world. And so this is the reason why they used to mock all these people, that they have the linguistical power, the linguistical control, that they can mend the society. And so this is the reason why normally he speaks in the dialect of Bologna. He is represented as a very fat woman, a fat man that has, all the vicious of the world, because he can, he can suppress the society. And Pantalone used his money to mend the society. Dottore used his brain and his language to mend the society, because the official language for cultural stuff in this time in Europe was the Latin, and the Latin was speaking about the doctors. And so this is the reason why they are mocking him, mocking this part of the society, speaking in Latin. Latin, plus we can say that they used to speak in a sort of tautology, this nonsense speaking. When the doctor speaks with Arlecchino or with Brighella, he used to speak in Latin just because they can't understand. But this is also the reason why the Lazzi, that is the monologue of Dottore, is always very chaotic with nonsense words, no? And then I will show you. So this is. There is another part that we have to consider about the classic typologies of Commedia dell'arte. During this time, Italy, especially south of Italy, was dominated by the Spanish people. And Spanish people were famous because they used to sell themselves to the exercites, okay, to make war, and they used to sell themselves. So they have no ideology, they have no identity, they just went to make war with a country just for money. And so the typology who mocks these special persons is the capitano.
Yo soy el capitán Cardón, destruidor de castillos, asolador de ciudades,
dejaretador de ejércitos y desplanta campaña. Hallándome en el medio de un ejército de enemigos, así sigo brazos, dedos, cabezas y cuerpo como el villano ciegador. Ciega el trigo con la hoz. ¡Jale!
The Spanish language, just because they used to came from Spanish, these soldiers, okay, that were mending Italy for 200 years. So this is the Capitano. In reality, this is an evolution. This is an interpretation, as always, as the doctor as well, because this is what we created. This is a sort of model of Capitano that we created with my brother. But the important is that he seems very brave. He used to speak like a very important conqueror. He went everywhere. He fought everywhere against everyone, and he won, of course. And he's the best, and he's the most beautiful. I don't know and stuff. But at the same time, there's a scene. For example, he is afraid of a little mouse. He is afraid of each rumor. It means that he's a little bit a sort of mean character. I mean, he seems brave, but at the same time he cares about everything. Yeah. So what we say, coward, it's a coward, okay? It's a coward. In Europe, of course, especially in Italy, unfortunately for us, there was another power. It was the religious power. The Vatican, the Catholic moral, okay? And but we have to say that now there was still a sort of underground religion that is the popular religion, the pagan religion, no? The unofficial religion that was represented in the Commedia dell'arte with the witch, la sorcière.
Io sono della strega. Saccio tutto lo potere dello cielo e della terra. Saccio decidere lo buono e lo malamente. Saccio dove stanno le persone belle e le persone care. Saccio tutto le segrete dello cielo e delle stelle, lo posso mettere insieme. Non da mettere contro la strega, cada pozzo mangiare cuore.
Okay? This was the connection between the society and the ancient rituals that they used to have in all our country, but I think in all Europe. I mean, there was an official medicine and an unofficial medicine. And sometimes in some plot they came to solve the same problem, but of course they have two different points of view. The sorcière, the witch, has the pagan, no? The not Catholic religion, and contrary, the church. It's not mentioned in Commedia dell'arte because it means that normal people, normally they were still using pagan rituals to solve problems of healthy or I don't know, fortune and everything with filters and stuff. And this is the witch. Then we have. So you have to imagine that for now we are at the third step of the pyramid. We've seen the political power, the linguistical power, the military power, the oniric moment represented by the church, and now we go on the base of the pyramid. The base of pyramid is represented by all the typologies of Zanni.
Brava! Ti ridi, A che mi sono venuto da tanto lontano qua a pezzi, magari che non so che roba da mangiare. A che confondi, A me piace che mangiare un bel pollastre, A che non lo tengo, il pollastre. Mi viene la verga, E tutto il tempo le sta aspirando le pollastre, poi la prende e le viene dalla bocca. Non dice niente qua.
We used to call Zanni when we say Zanni, we mean all people that represent the poor people, the basic people, the normal people. And the Zanni, the most important Zanni of everyone, we could say the most famous is, of course, Arlecchino. Exactly. Where are you, Arlecchino? Arlecchino. Arlecchino came from the region of Bergamo, so the center of Italy. The color of the mask is black because he was a miner. You know, this man working on the miniera. And so it's supposed to be dirty about the carbon, like this. Another thing that you can see here is more difficult because this is a studio model that I use for workshop, but it's not, let's say, properly the Arlecchino that we used to sell. Here you see a corn, a sort of stuff. Can you see? So there are two theories normally. One says that this corn is because he is very stupid and he is beaten from his own master that is normally Pantalone. But there's another version that says that in the ancient time, here there was, instead of this little bottom like this, there was a cord. Cord. There was a horn. And this horn represents the soul of a faun. So we can say that Arlecchino was a mix between demoniac soul and a human soul. And so then something happened, probably because of the influence of the church, when it starts to become very important, very used practice of Commedia dell'arte. And so at the end they let this, okay? And they covered with the theory that it's because he was beaten, but I don't believe in this theory. I just think that there was a sort of compromise between church and society, because don't forget that this is the moment where they used to burn people. Okay, they used to burn people. It was very dangerous for them. Plus, we have to consider that normally actors of Commedia dell'arte were so like sort of dead people. They weren't so accepted by society. Plus, we have to say that in this time it's completely forbidden for women to play, okay? To play roles in theater. Normally, they were completely not allowed to perform in theater. And this is also the reason why, if we go back a little bit more, in Greek tragedy there are masks, because to represent women they used to wear masks, because women they couldn't play, because it was only a businessman, not for women. We said that he came from Bergamo, so all the category of Zanni, they are servant. Zanni came from the name Giovanni, it's a contraction. From Giovanni we say Gianni, from Gianni we say Zanni, Zani, Zane, Giovanni. So we use the name, the general name Zanni to represent all these masks that are representing the people, the normal people. Normally he is the servant of Pantalone, and, for example, Brighella, it's another Zanni, and he is the servant of sometimes he's the servant of the doctor. Most of the time, the basic plot of Commedia dell'arte starts with a sort of antagonism between Pantalone and Dottore. Why? Because they have a son and a daughter that they are in love, but like Romeo and Giulietta, they can't get married because there are problems about their families. Okay? Brighella is the servant normally of Dottore, and also Arlecchino and Brighella, they are a sort of antagonist, because Brighella is more stupid and Arlecchino is a little bit more clever. Then we will see what does it mean clever, to be clever for a Zanni, and what does it mean to be clever for a Pantalone. Then I'm going to ask to show you other Zanni, other category Zanni, okay, included in all this big category. For example, Pulcinella from Naples. Policinella from Naples. Or Coviello, this is the master there, from Naples too, antagonist of Policinella. he quite disappeared from the tradition of Commedia dell'arte because it was very difficult to use it, because it's a very difficult mask to wear. As you can see, the eyes are completely different and very difficult to see. Then, another Zanni. Can you see how different are the lines of the first masks that I show you, like Pantalone, to this? Then we are going to see how. Why? Mezzettino. This is another Zanni. You can see it's a little bit clever, but also it has this expression that means more or less that he's angry or he wants something very, very simple, like to eat or other stuff. Another Zanni. This is a reproduction and imitation of Mamutone, that is an ancient mask from Sardinia. It came from Sardinia, and we did it as a leather mask because normally this is black, and this is a mask made in wood. So it's not leather mask, but it's a wood mask. Zanni. This is a sort of bird, as you can see. It's a little bit aggressive, but normally it's a sort of antagonist into. Because we have to consider that maybe sometimes also the witch has a servant. So the servant of the servant.
Yes.
The war between poor people. Maybe this is what we are living today in modern society. Then, another Zanni. Can you see how different are the characters? Then we are going to examine how to create a character from zero and how to read the lines of masks. Then we have an old band of people, like the Greek chorus, they used to comment all around, so this is the function of this kind of mask. But we can also use it like a Pantalone, But normally the Pantalone has a character, so he has the nose like this, he is black, and he has this long here, like this. We try to represent the classical typology of Commedia dell'arte with my brother, but also we are trying to study the new typology of people on the street, to search for new models of mask. Because I think that, of course, we have to study Commedia dell'arte on the basic rules, the classical rules, but if you want to really go through this problem of to be recognized in modern society, we have to put the Commedia dell'arte closer to the new society, inventing new typologies, okay? And for example, for us, this is the pusher, the man who sells drugs. So in the ancient popular culture of Italy, but I'm sure there's also in Hungary, there were these men that they were searching for water, and they had this wood that used to walk with, and when there was water, the wood started to move. And so this is what we call rabdomante in Italy. And so this is a rabdomante. Of course, he is not searching for water, but for women. And so this is why we used to, you can smell a woman from far. Very useful. Very, very. So let's go into examine how the mask is